Hi guys, good evening. Welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be discussing what I thought of the latest episode of The Mist, which premiered last night on Spike TV. I just got done watching it. Very interesting. Pretty intense stuff there. Now, before I start going into it, and I keep gushing on, and I talk too long, please be warned that this video review will be full of big spoilers regarding the most recent episode of The Mist. So if you're not caught up on The Mist by this episode or the past few episodes, do not keep watching or listening, as I will be going into spoiler details. So you have been warned. That being said, a lot of shit went down tonight. We saw a drastic change in leadership at the church. We saw people starting to get real ugly at the mall, and we had an unpleasant encounter with an unfortunate individual who was mentally ill. I feel like this episode is finally showing us that people are really starting to become unhinged. They're starting to really lose it. Because now people at the mall are going crazy over food rations, with the manager, Gus. What the hell, Gus? He's stuffing his face in his office with some granola bars or something, and then he goes out there and he has the gall to tell that one guy, "How dare you hog all the food," or "How dare you try to eat more than your fill," or some shit like that, when it's his own security guard who's eating all the extra food or something. And now we've got Alice's group spying on the main group of people. We've got the loading bay people spying on the other group of people in the mall with freaking baby monitors, which is really smart idea, by the way. That was clever thinking or clever writing. I liked that idea. But now they're freaking spying on them, and that's only going to fuel the other side's paranoia of the other and suspicions. And now with this grief-stricken mother who's already suggesting there's something off about Alex, about how she was spared by the mist and the mist has never harmed her. Now she's got her fellow survivors thinking, oh, what if she's onto something? And then if they find that baby monitor in the bush, they're gonna freaking lose their minds and accuse them of spying on them, which they would be, of course. But yeah, this episode really showed how scary people are when you go through these prolonged periods of crisis, just how desperate and horrific people can be. Like we saw this mental health patient who was clearly a patient of the psych ward, posing as a doctor or a nurse, wearing the uniform and everything, and they find the closet full of bodies that he's killed, and he's killed all these people because he's freeing them from evil, or they were evil and he ended the evil. So clearly the guy was nuts. He himself, I don't think, was necessarily an evil individual. I think he was just incredibly sick, like mentally, seriously ill. And I understood why Kevin did what he did. It makes sense to handle a situation like that the way he handled it. And then he did end up killing the guy, like one swift stroke to the head with that table leg, whatever that was, and he killed him. He outright killed him. And maybe the guy was actually evil, because it seemed like he was smiling towards the end there, right before Kevin thumped him on the head. I thought that was a really I thought it was really creepy how in that scene when the Tyler goes to look for Adrian, when he notices that he's missing, and he bumps into Kevin and he's sleeping in the hallway. They go looking for him. They see the doctor and they're like, "Hey, do you know where Adrian is? Have you seen him?" "Oh, I had to fix him. Yeah, he won't be a problem anymore." And as soon as he said that, I was like, "Oh, something tells me this guy is a patient of the psych ward." And sure enough, damn it, he was. So I was like, oh shit, here it goes. And then what else I liked about this episode is that we learned a little bit more about Jonah's past. And we saw one hell of an intense detox for the girl. You know, she went through one hell of a detox, and it looked completely miserable and, you know, pretty painful probably. But hopefully, you know, this will clean out her system for a while, and as long as she stays off meds or drugs or whatever, hopefully she'll be okay for the next couple of episodes. Because I realize we've only got like 3 episodes left this season. You know, this is a 10 episode show, and we've got 3 episodes left for this season. So I think things are really going to start to, you know, come to a head here pretty damn soon. And then I also really enjoyed the church storyline. I'm glad how the priest and Mrs. Raven both agreed, okay, let's both venture out into the mist. Whoever dies, whoever lives will lead the church group, and whoever dies doesn't. You know, so people either will follow religion or nature is what it came down to, between like Mother Nature and people's faith, basically. And and I was also like, ow, you know, that police chief really rammed into the priest, like he really gave it to him, which kind of threw me off, because I could have sworn he had tried to talk the crazy altar boy out of assaulting Mrs. Raven, or did he imply that he wanted him to do it? I can't quite remember. But then when they showed him talking to the door, and on the other side is the boy's eaten away corpse, and something clearly happened to him, something killed him, like the mist, you know, got in and disintegrated him or some shit. Clearly, you know, the priest, was thanking him for his sacrifice and whatnot. So now the 2 religious nuts are out of the way. Well, not entirely, because we still have another fanatic, and unfortunately she is now in charge of the church. And I think the only reason she survived is because she remained calm. And she chose to show no fear, and the mist, you know, could sense and feed off of the fear of the priest, which is why it was the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse that appeared before him and killed him, because that's what he was afraid of. He was afraid of the apocalypse, or the end of the world, and the 4 horsemen were representatives of that. And the mist could sense that about the priest, what his fear was, and that's what it used to kill him. And it only spared her because she was in a calm state of mind where she chose not to be afraid of anything. But if she was in the wrong state of mind and she was terrified, she probably would have died as well. But, that's one way to deal with leadership problems, is to have your 2 leaders kind of duke it out, almost like a trial by combat type of deal. Or how did the father refer to it? Trial by ordeal, which is, basically the same thing. So, damn, it was a pretty heavy episode. You know, we saw things falling apart at the mall. We saw a clash of leadership at the church, and the priest is now dead, and along with the crazy psych ward patient Nash, who is dead because Kevin killed him. And then we thought things were going to turn around for Adrian and Tyler, but Tyler clearly is incredibly insecure and not handling this new relationship too well, so he chose to stay at the hospital while the others took off. And we learned more about Jonah's past, and we saw in flashbacks that he was subjected to what looked like electroshock therapy, and they're trying to condition him somehow. It kind of reminded me of scenes from Captain America Civil War, when we saw flashbacks of Hydra conditioning, doing mental brainwashing and conditioning on the Winter Soldier. That's what it kind of reminded me. So it's got me wondering what kind of plans did these people have for Jonah? And does he still have a part to play, or do they have a part to play? All very interesting, intriguing stuff. So overall, pretty damn good episode. You know, it was pretty intense, with a lot of pretty heavy moments in it. And I think the next 3 are going to be pretty intense, and just as intense, or possibly a bit more exciting. So who knows? Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another episode review here on the EdWord. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Mist as much as I did. The Mist premieres with new episodes every Thursday night on Spike TV. Check your local listings for times. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more review videos like this one. Feel free to sound off down below in the comments section on what you thought of tonight's episode. I'd love to hear from everybody. As usual, you may disagree with one another, of course, but please keep it civil and be respectful. All right, you guys, have a great rest of the night if I don't see you again. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.